Good morning, all the students of 5th standard. Once again, we will turn what is our remaining portion or the part is remain from the second lesson, history and the concept of time. From that, today we'll take the next point, the same lesson, common era, or also it is called as a Christian era. On the page number 6, it is second point of the same lesson. So, common era and the Christian era there. In the unilinear division of time, year that follows one after the other are arranged in a serial order. In a unilinear division of time, years they arrange in a serial order, that one after one, after the years are there. They arrange in a serial order. They arrange into the, we can call as a ascending order from 1 to 100. So, in history books also, a chain of events that follows one after the other is presented in the linear and the serial manner. That so when we are learning history, in history also, that all the events, all the incidents, they arrange in a chain situation, that one after one, they attach to the one another, that in a linear manner. That for this usually we refer to the common era or the Christian era, written in short as a CE or AD. That so for the same purpose, to refer this one, we call or we use the common era or the Christian era, or also we can call or we refer as a CE or AD. CE, that is the Christian era. AD also called as a Anno Domini, or in the year of Lord, which means when Jesus Christ was born. From that time years began to count. So in the year of Lord also we can call as a or as a Anno Domini. CE Christian era, for that it is referred as the same only, or AD also referred the same only, there when the year began to count. That the calendar we use today is based on the Christian era. In today's time, in present time, the calendar we use today in present time, it is based on a Christian era there. Now it is called as a common era. So there in present time, Christian era is also called as a common era. This era began in the memory of Jesus Christ. So this era or this period, it started in the memory of this period. Is started in the memory of Jesus Christ. When Jesus Christ was born, in memory of Jesus Christ, the era started there. So the first year of this era is the year when it began. That first years when Jesus Christ was born, the first year of this era started. It is shown with the number 1. That so first year is considered, it is shown with the number 1. The year after that are indicated by the next number in the serial order. That so year after that indicate with the another number in a serial order. The first 100 years, that is the first century of this era, is known as or written as a 1:100 CE. That so the first century or the first year started from 1 and written as a 1 in from 1st to 10. For example, here we can call as a 1 and it is a 100, first to 100 century CE. That or first to 100 AD. For example, we can say that sometime a teacher tell us that write the table from 1 to 100, 2 to 10, like same way 1 to 100. That the period of the first millennium of this era is written as a first to 1000 CE or 1000 AD, millennium. So what you can call that, if it is 100 we call as a century. If it is 100 then we call as a century, and if it is 1000 then it is called as a millennium. In English, if it is 100 then we call as a century there, and if it is 1000 then in English we can call to that 1000 as a it is also refer or it is also called as a millennium. Next point, the time before the common or the Christian era. Next one point, the time before the common or the Christian era. The period before the common era is also known as the time before common era, BCE. So it is not considered, it is not called that when Jesus Christ born, from that time only year began to count. Before that there was no year also. It is not correct. So before the time of Jesus Christ also, years were there, people were there, they lived that. So how we count that year, or how we recognize that period that? So that period is also called as a BC, before Christ. So that year, that period is called as a BC, before the Christian era, or before Christ, BC or BCE. For example, Jesus Christ was born, that is a CE or AD. When he was born, from that time year began to count it is a CE or AD. But before his birth also some years were there. People, they lived there. So that incident, how we recognize that incident? To recognize that incident, we refer as a BCE, before the Christian era, or BC, before the Christ. This word we refer, and it is written into the reverse order. Present time we write the year 1200 CE or AD. It is after the birth of Jesus Christ. And before the birth of Jesus Christ, duration or the year we write into the reverse order, into the descending order, that is 100 to 1. Reverse order, it is that. In repetition, reverse order, descending. Jesus Christ was born, so the year started to count into the ascending order, 1 to 100. And when before the period of Jesus Christ, it is counted into the descending order, that is from 100 to 1, in descending order. That the year of this period are counted in return in a reverse order. The first century before the common era began at the year 100 BC and the ended with the 1 BC. So the first year started from the 100 and it is ended at the first year, 100 BCE to the ended with the 1 BC. So in a descending order. That similarly, the first millennium before the common era began at the 1000 BCE and ended with the 1 BC. Millennium also 1000 is called as a millennium. So millennium also started 1000 and ended with the 1 BCE. In a reverse or descending order. So first century before the common era is indicated as a 100 to 1 BC. First century is indicated as a 100 to 1 BCE. Difference is there. 1 to 100 BC or AD, that is the Christian era, and 100 to 1 BCE, that is before the Christian era. In this way, difference is there. And the first millennium before the common era is also indicated as 1000 to 100 BC. So in this way, difference is there, variation is there. So for that, there is a downside chart is also there. BC or BC and AD and is CE, that you write in your notebook and try to understand the concept of timeline here, timeline concept, and the difference variations in the years before the Christ and after the Christ. Thank you.